Hello, everybody. I am so excited about this little visit today with my friend Tracie Cannon, who has joined us at eXp. Hello, Tracie.
Hi. Hi, everybody.
This lady is so great on so many levels. Honestly, she really is. I mean, she's not only a trained, amazing veteran agent of about 21 years, I believe it is. But she's also had a tremendous background in recruiting with Century 21, some great groups like that. So on multiple levels, I think she is going to do a lot to grow our organization at EXP. And I'm just so excited to have you be part of our group, Tracie.
Thank you. I feel so privileged to be here too. Nothing could have happened at the most perfect time. So,
With the whole virtual world, the world
yes,
going virtual, right?
absolutely.
Well, give us just a little short snippet of a background of who you are.
Okay. Well, born and raised in the Hill Country, have seen Tammy around for quite a long time, actually. Admired her business from the get go. And, I was in real estate. I first was a real estate paralegal. Then I became a real estate assistant escrow officer. And then I thought, who's all these agents getting all of these great checks across the table and I'm doing all their work for them? So got my real estate license. So in that, I've been in and out of real estate through buying and selling and property management and then recruiting.
No, I love that. Yeah, so you've been selling for a long time, and I have a little experience with that. And the great thing to realize, I think most agents, whether they're at EXP or like you were doing in the past, working as specifically a recruiter, you still wanted to do both, right? You wanted to
Right.
help your clients buy and sell.
Yeah. Well, when you become a recruiter for a label, let's just call them labels. They don't want you buying and selling real estate. They just want you recruiting. And really and truly, I got into the business to buy and sell. It just so happens that recruiting is a big passion of mine because I like taking people from ground zero and making them and helping them be successful. So that's where it's a great balance for me. So I can buy and sell real estate and I can make people great. And I love that.
And I think that was a little bit of a problem with your last job. And as we point out here, we are never here to say bad about anybody because no one thing can be right for everyone. But I think that was one of the struggles we faced before is there were a little bit more constraints put on you in as far as actually selling real estate, right?
Say that again. I didn't hear you. You were breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, I was just saying, I think you had some constraints at your last
Yes.
job, right? About being able to buy and sell a lot.
Yes. So I couldn't buy and sell anything. And if I did, it was really, they were, making it 1 to 2 transactions a year. And I was like, okay, well, how am I going to get really good in with some co op agents if I can't buy and sell? How am I going to actually recruit someone if I'm not in the business myself and telling them what the company does for me that they can do for them? So I think we come from a level of experience. We have to buy and sell in order to be able to recruit great agents. And I was very restricted to um, 8 offices in one district. That's all I could recruit for. And I know people from all over, but I was not reaping the benefits from that recruiting because they weren't in my district.
Now, I think that's fascinating when we first talked because your main job there was as a recruiter, right?
Yes, correct.
And yet sometimes people that can be the rap with the EXP people are like, oh, y'all are about recruiting. I'm like, do they realize every brokerage recruits? That's part of keeping a business alive, right?
Yes, it is. I mean, so it's just how they form their business. So a lot of your franchise or label companies like to put recruiting aside from the actual buying and selling. So they use that to recruit, but as a recruiter, you don't get a lot of the great benefits that comes with both. So it does put a lot of restraint on you.
I find it's also very important to stay in the trenches. I'm a lot
Oh,
better
absolutely.
recruiter if I'm a good agent, right? I mean, people want to align with someone who's selling and doing a good job selling.
Well, I think too, in recruiting, when you're recruiting people, you need to be knowledgeable. You need to know what's going on in your market. You need to know what the company is doing as a whole to help that agent be successful in their marketplace. How are you going to be able to translate that without being in it yourself, being in the trenches yourself? You really can't. So I don't see where it's beneficial for a recruiter to be a recruiter and not be buying and selling real estate at the same time.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why we tell people all the time, the vast majority of agents at eXp are selling real estate, and that's it. That's what we do, right? And because you can't be much of a sponsor, mentor, helper if you're not in the trenches keeping up with the times.
I 100% agree with that. I tell everyone. So, how I got started in exploring eXp is I was losing agents at my table that I were recruiting to eXp. And I wanted to know, wait a minute, what is it about eXp that I'm losing to? Because eXp was my greatest competitor in recruiting. And so I wanted to know exactly what that looks like. And so I just started digging and I started researching. Then I started thinking, what what's going on here that I'm not benefiting from now? So it really kind of made me look at it very, very differently. And a lot of people came in and said, EXP just doesn't. If I'm recruiting an agent from EXP, which I did try to do, and there were some that didn't feel that they were getting the support they needed, and the training they needed, and I fall that back on whoever brought them in, because the person who brought them in just kind of brought them in and dropped them off. It takes a 6-month integration period for people to come in and really be integrated into the systems of your company. And I'm not saying anything bad about any brokerages. It really depends on the person bringing them in and into the systems. And if you can get them integrated within 6 months, don't drop them off and just let go. Really get them integrated. You can really make a person great in this business. And eXp allows that. I just think some people just didn't have the right information.
No, I think you're right. And I love the fact that that was our first. Can you try turning your volume down a little bit and see if that's some of our feedback? Like on your phone there, see if you can a little bit. If you can, it's no big deal. If you can hear me, we're okay. But I love that those were some of our first conversations because you made this decision pretty quickly, but it's only because you dove in head first. And I was like, oh no, I want you to see the training we're providing. I don't want you doing anything blind. Dive in, jump in, go into the world. I want you to see the huge array that eXp is providing. And then I want you to see this big overarching level that our mastermind is providing. And I like to think you were pretty impressed.
Well, obviously, I'm here. I was very, very impressed, actually. I got on the phone with Daniel. You put me in front of Jay Kinder. Just some of the wonderful conversations that we've had, even with Sam. I was thinking this level of experience and this level of being accessibility is very, very powerful when you're recruiting for a company. So when people say there's no accessibility, I know that there is. So I am so fortunate that I come from such a great background. The label did teach me a lot, but now I have so much more to offer, and that's going to make this so much greater for us.
Absolutely. And tell them about, because I was just blown away with some of the virtual thoughts you were having before Corona.
Okay, so 9 months ago, we were in a leadership meeting, and I said, hey guys, in today's world, and this was 9 months ago, mind you, I said, in today's world, we need
at your previous brokerage.
Yes, at my previous brokerage 9 months ago, I said, guys, we really need to meet people where they are. Today, people are busy. They're running down the road. They've got kids. They've got families. They're dual careers. They've got a lot going on. So if we don't reach out to them and meet them where they're at, we're going to lose them. And they were like, no, we don't want to do that. That's too much. We still need to experience the one-on-one touch and the face-to-face. And I said, okay. And I get that to a point, but we really need to meet people where they're at. So unbeknownst to them, I did a virtual career event just to see if I could. And I had 44 people attend with only 1 week's notice of invitation to them. Say, hey, in 1 week, I'm doing a virtual career event. Hey, why don't you jump on and kind of see what we're about? So out of those 44 people, I captured 12 of them and hired them the next day.
And like you said, that was before Corona,
that was way before Corona.
Was the norm, right?
That was in November, the end of November. And so now when the Corona came and we had the pandemic, they were like, oh, well, we need to. And I was like, you should have listened, because we would have been way ahead of the curve if we had gone forward in all of that. So you're in the middle of a pandemic, and now you're learning how to do virtual events and meetings, and it was a little bit crazy.
Well, it is, and it puts you behind the eight ball as much as anything else, I think. We were talking the other day about how Jay Kinder mentioned a great point to us. He said, you realize that Glenn Sanford started this company in 2009 when the iPhone was 2 years old. The lame version, the initial version was only 2 years old. That's quite a visionary to build a cloud-based brokerage in an environment where nothing was cloud-based yet. Very, very little. Let's at least put it that way, right?
So one of the things that I loved about eXp that you showed me is how innovative they are. A lot of our millennials they're all about technology. They're all about being in front of what's coming, and eXp gives that. And that's one of the things that really, really impressed me so much. Another thing is I've realized with top producers, when they're in a company, they don't want to look because it scares them, because they think, oh, I'm going to have to change something. But if you ever get them to look inside the world and inside everything that eXp offers and start making those deposits with those top producers, they couldn't help but change it, because it just makes business sense.
Well, that's what you've probably already heard him say it. If you haven't, you will. One of Jay Kinder's favorite sayings is, once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. It's just, once it's there, you can't. And I told you the story. I said, I didn't want to deal with it. Things were going great. I mean, we were crushing it. This opportunity comes along. I wasn't looking for an opportunity. We owned our own brokerage. But my good friends, Mary Maloney, Kyle Whistle, took their independent brokerages and moved. And I said, doggone it, I'm going to have to go look and see what this is about. I got enough to do and I won't think about it. But I finally said, now that I do know what it is and it's there, I've got two choices. I have a risk regardless. I'm not getting out risk-free. So I have the risk of I do it. Maybe I don't like it. And I just changed the name on our signs a little bit. Again, no big deal. Versus they do it, I don't. I sit on the sidelines and I look back in 2 years and go, why didn't I have the nerve or the gumption? Because it takes it. It feels like jumping off a bridge sometime. And it takes a lot of chutzpah to make that move. And I finally said, which one of those two can I sleep with? Can I sleep at night knowing that worst case, I got to change some things back? And the clients don't care. No, we all know none of us get our deals in life because of the brokerage, right? We get it because of who we are as people. So I said, which one's worse, to live with that or to look back and go, man, those guys built something amazing without me. And I just wasn't willing to take that risk.
It's not just that, but I think, you've got to think forward in your business. You got to think forward from where you are to be able to evolve with the changes of the world. So like Brad Inman said in the interview yesterday, disruption causes change, and you got to be willing to make those changes. So when the label says to me, we're going to go back to normal, that really gave me a lot of pause, because there's not going to be another normal. I mean, the way we do business is going to be different. We need to incorporate the changes that we've made and continue. And when I heard back to normal, I have to tell you, that really scared me a little bit.
Yes, and everybody, I know we're all hoping to get some back to normal, right? That's a human emotion to want to do. But my belief, honestly, is it just needs to be an altered normal. We're going to have these times, and we may in 6 months or a year be back to where it looks very similar. But we all know now that this can happen. It's not going to happen just once. But the way I look at it, the first round of a pandemic of this nature could have been Ebola or something where it killed you, period. If you got it, it killed you. My take on it is God is giving us a warning shot here where we get some systems in place where Corona is very serious. Don't get me wrong, but we know the mortality rate is far better than it could be. It could be something where if you got it, you died. So to me, the world had to go 24 hours. Everyone's on lockdown. I think we all know what it means now. We could make it happen and probably save a large part of humanity, really.
I think the demand for brick and mortar is going to go away. I really and truly believe that. And so when is the best time to jump on a company who doesn't rely on brick and mortar? Now's the time to do that. As a matter of fact, as of yesterday, I have 4 people already signed up to go to school, because now they want to get in real estate and want to be a part of eXp, just because of conversations that I've had. That is my favorite part, actually, as a recruiter, is to take someone from ground zero and make them great. And, being with top producers and getting them into the business, I enjoy that too, just as much. But when I see people come in from ground zero and actually succeed in a company that provides them everything they need to be successful, that for me is my ultimate goal and passion. I love that part of it. Yep, I can't hear you.
Sorry. I looked the other day, you should have seen me and Tracy. We were texting back and forth, so excited. I'm like, I didn't even realize going into the virtual world, eXp has a fast start course, which is fast start 101, 102, all the way through 114. They are 14 1-hour segments to take you from, you don't even have to be brand new, but let's just say you're not running a team, you're not where you want to be, and you're new to eXp, you're wanting to dive in, and they in a very short time take you week by week. These are all taught live in the virtual world. You can raise your little avatar's hand, ask a question. They're very interactive, and I was just so impressed that those resources were already there on top of what you and I are about to build.
Well, here's the thing that I want to say that I want everybody to know on new agents, and I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. But new agents, when I do an interview with a new agent, someone new to the business, I ask them, what are the top 3 reasons that you would join a brokerage? What are you looking for that's most important to you? So the first 3, training and support, were number 1, and they tied each other. So I would get those interactively, training and support. And then the mentoring program. Someone to mentor me because I don't know what the heck I'm doing. The classes just taught me how to pass the real estate exam. I don't know how to actually do the business. So mentoring. And then technology and broker provided items were the next one. So with every single one of those, I make sure when I was looking at eXp, what is it, if I have new agents coming to me and these are the things that they're looking for, how does eXp provide that? And I found it. And through all of the interviews I've done, I've never heard that eXp had a mentoring program until I sat down with you. And I was like, what? A mentoring program? That is exciting because that's something that these new agents really are looking for. And that's one of the reasons why I got a lot of them over to my label, is because of the mentoring program. Had no idea at the time that eXp had one as well. So I was very happy about that. For top producers, here's what they're looking for. Leadership. Leadership was one of the number 1 things that they always said to me. Continuing education. They're always, because they always have to keep that up. And one of the things that some of the labels do is they have within their own group a way to provide CEs without a cost to that agent. So that's one. Innovative technology and forward thinking. That was the other one. And skin in the game. How can I get skin in the game? And those were the top things for the top producers. And I went through eXp and everything that they offer, and there's not one thing in that group that eXp cannot provide. And that is when you hooked me. That's when I said, okay, they've got everything, an answer. There would not be one objective that a recruit could give me that I could not overcome with eXp. And that's what won me.
Well, and it reminds me too, it's kind of funny. There's a young gentleman that I'm visiting with currently, and he's looking at the opportunity to see if it fits for him. He's such a doll. He keeps saying, "Oh, don't worry. I trust you. I don't have to talk to all these other people." Yeah, but what we sell is way beyond the value of the eXp. It's the value of our group, of our mastermind. So how can I sell you on our group, in reality, doing a genuine job without introducing you to our group? So he's like, man, the 3 people you have shown me are $100 million team leaders of crazy levels, some of them beyond that even. And he goes, each one was so unique, was such a go-getter, took their time to give to me, were in some ways my spirit animals. And he goes, but I trust you. I said, but it doesn't matter, because having access to me is a great thing in theory, right? I guess someone has value there. But the way I look at it is the people above me, that's the value I see. And I just wanted you and him and anyone else I talked to see, forget about me. This is really what you get here.
Well, Tammy, you sell yourself very short. Let me tell you, you've done an amazing job in your B&B business and your real estate business. And I've always admired you from afar. So just to be a part of your organization does mean a lot to me. However, when I talk to the other people, Jake Kinder, Daniel, all of them, it's just they were so down to earth and so accessible and just transparent and real. And you don't find that every day in this world, in the real estate business. And I appreciated that so incredibly much. And it goes a long way when you're recruiting people to your program.
Well, it does, because it's very unusual. Because eXp truly did create a very odd environment in a great way, where I like to say it pays givers to give. It really does. It's a way where, I love how Dan Beer points out a lot of times. He goes, well, you know what? The revenue share portion, which is not something we spend a lot of time on, because most of our agents are interested in selling more real estate. But he goes, if you never want to bring a person onto the company, that's great. It doesn't matter to me. He goes, but you care about it, because it's the reason I answer your phone call at 8:30 at night. When there's most people on the planet call when I'm tired, had a long day, I won't. But you literally are on my team now. And I'm going to be paid to help you sell real estate, to answer that question. So I'm now, I love, do you remember the point? He said, well, people say that there's two things for sure, death and taxes. He said, I think there's a third, death, taxes, and taking care of yourself and your family. Those are natural. He said, so me helping you is actually taking care of my family, which I'm going to do. And eXp just created a great situation to be able to do it.
Well, and when you work for a great company and you have all these wonderful things to offer, you become very passionate about it. So why wouldn't you want to share that with somebody? Why wouldn't you want to bring someone in that you enjoy working with and say, hey, I think this would be a great choice for you? You can't help but talk about it. And that's what's great about eXp. There's so much to talk about, and there's so much to be passionate about. And as you can tell, I get really excited. I get really passionate about things. And so, if I feel that way, I'm in. I'm in, and I recruited 132 people in a year and a half for a company that I have no skin in that game, kind of thing. And it's not anything to their detriment. That's just how they do business, and that's great and wonderful. But when I look at what I could have done, if I had made that different choice at that time, it would have been, I mean, it's incredible. So they did teach me so much. And there's so many wonderful people within that label that I hold dear and true to my heart every day. But I'm ready to move forward, and I'm very, very excited about eXp.
Trust me, we are very excited to have you here. It's just going to be, it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be a great fit, and we're going to grow some great things together. And we just welcome you with open arms. And anyone that wants to reach out to Tracie, feel free to do so. And we'll get on a call and visit, because it's just what we love to do. The funny thing I mentioned to you, you came from the Fredericksburg area too. And I said, the funny thing is, what is a small town girl in a town of 10, 11,000 people doing hobnobbing, spending time with great agents all over the country? I can show you my text from last night. I'm always in a 5-way text with Kyle Whistle, Dan Beer, Mary Maloney, Mark Pattison. And we're always giving each other ideas, helping each other. That's just the ongoing conversation. And what on earth am I doing in that group? But this company gave me the opportunity to do something bigger, to help more people, and to grow something greater than I alone ever could have done. And I'm just on cloud nine. So yeah, I ain't gonna shut up about it either, because I'm having a blast.
I can't. I mean, I want to talk about it so much to so many different people. I'm a little limited at the time, but I mean, there's just so much that I want to share, because it's just something that I truly believed in, and I saw that was coming down the road about a year ago. And so I thought, gosh, if we could just be innovative, let's just do it. Let's just do it. And for some, they just don't feel like that it's the right for them, and I get that. So I had to make the personal choice to go with a company that is more like-minded like me. So I think I found that in eXp for sure.
Well, you're just a doll, and I'm honored to have you as part of my group. And you're right, now is the time. I've had 5 people name me as their sponsor in the last 10 days to 2 weeks, which is a lot of people that are putting literally a big part of their life in with you, right? It's not a small decision for anyone. I never take it lightly. I never try to portray it to you as something to take lightly. I understand what it means. So that's very gratifying that I now look like I have 5 new partners in business, and something to grow a lot bigger than I could ever do here in our amazing town of Fredericksburg. But yeah, I'm just so excited and happy.
Well, recruiting, I tell everyone that I recruit, it's a 50-50 deal. You get all the support and the training from your company is 50% of it. The other 50% comes from you. If you want to be successful, you've got to bring it 50%. We'll bring it halfway, you bring it the rest, but we'll meet you there. And so I think that's something that eXp can do. It's very well rounded. There's nothing in this business that eXp cannot provide for their agents. And that is the key to success.
Well, thank you for being here. This has been a blast. I've enjoyed it. I know people may want to reach out to you or me with more questions, and they can feel free to anytime comment here, message us. We're always available to visit or just to help you grow your real estate business in general. So
I just want to
other than that, we will talk soon.
I want to say thanks to everybody. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this wonderful team. And I think together we're going to grow. Just be ready for it. Be ready because it's coming.
Thank you, dear. Bye.
Bye.